Spotlight. I'm Doug Zaleski, your host, and we are presented by Ruoff Mortgage. We're going to be talking today with Chandler Thompson. Chandler, a former basketball star at Muncie Central and Ball State, played a nice professional career over in Europe, and we'll talk to Chandler in just a moment. I want to thank my sponsors that make this production possible. Ruoff Mortgage, the folks at Ruoff Mortgage's Muncie branch know you need someone local who understands the Muncie market. Ruoff's skilled staffs will guide you with pre-approval to the closing table. Ruoff Home Mortgage is licensed by the Indiana DFI 141868 and is an equal housing lender. Call the team today at 765-587-2280 to see how they can help you find a home. Pizza King just made ringing the king better. Now every dollar you spend on those delicious pizzas, subs, wings, and more earn points. Those points turn into tasty rewards like free pizzas and discounts. And just for signing up, you can get a free order of breadsticks with your first $10 purchase. Head over to pizzaking.com to sign up for Pizza King rewards. Walls Furniture and Mattress has been family owned since 1996 with more than 500 five-star Google reviews. Local delivery and pickup options are available. Come in and look around for your next piece of home furnishings. OGG Auto Glass is your local specialist for repairing and replacing windshields and windows on any vehicle, even tractors. Owner-operator Jeremy Mead is a U.S. Marine Corps veteran who is ready to help. Call him at OGG Auto Glass at 765-717-1011 or visit their website at oggautoglass.com. Clancy's Car Wash. If you desire the cleanest vehicle in Muncie, check out what my friends at Clancy's Car Wash can do for you. With 8 locations in Muncie, Yorktown, Daleville, Anderson, and Newcastle, options include full service, automatic, and self-service cleaning. Barnett's Garage Doors is a family-owned business that services Muncie and surrounding counties with reliable and quality garage door installation, repair, and maintenance services, including minor repairs and full replacements. Contact Travis at 765-499-3971 for any garage door service. And if you mention you heard this ad on Muncie Sports Spotlight, you'll receive a 10% discount on all their work. Golf season is upon us, and Albany Golf Club is ready for you. The 18-hole layout is known for its challenging yet friendly play and well-groomed fairways. And now there are 6 indoor hitting bays and a golfing simulator. Call 765-789-4366 to set up a tee time for your foursome. And we are going to bring in Chandler Thompson now to join us on this week's edition of Muncie Sports Spotlight. And Chandler will be with us here in just a second as we're loaded. There he is. Hi, Chandler.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
Good. What's the picture behind you?
Oh, that's the team, Sweet 16 team.
Sweet 16 team. I kind of figured it was. I saw some Cardinal shirts there, and I think I see Paris McCurdy right over your head. Got a lot to talk to you about that team and that season, and I kind of want to start at the beginning a little bit with your career here in Muncie as a Central basketball player. When did you start getting real interested in basketball?
Uh, as an infant,
Yeah.
yeah, I started as an infant.
Just everybody around you played
Well,
ball, had a
my
ball.
uncle played the NBA, so basketball was in my family.
Yeah,
My
that's
dad
right.
played.
Yeah,
My uncle played in the NBA.
your uncle was
Bill Dinwiddie, Rashid
that's right.
Shabazz,
That's right. That's right. Yeah, he had a nice career with the Celtics, I think, right?
Celtics, the Bucks, the Royals.
Yeah. So basketball became your sport almost right out of the crib apparently. And I want to talk to you about your Central experience. Great program, coached by Bill Harrell. What was Bill Harrell like as a coach? What was he like to play for?
The greatest teacher. First of all, he's a teacher. He taught us the game. He showed us how to really understand the game from the fundamental side of the game. So everyone was fundamentally sound. We knew how to. We knew we. I think we all had a great IQ. Once you left Muncie Central playing, your IQ was great. And I think if you look at most of the players who played for him, the IQ was really high after they left Muncie Central.
Yeah, that's always the impression I got about that Muncie Central program back in those days with Bill, and then it continued on with Mike Drews. But it seemed like you guys were always prepared. You were never caught by surprise by anything.
Never, never.
Um, your senior season, okay, you win the state championship. It's the 1987-88 season. You guys win the state championship. You beat um, uh, Concord in the championship game, March 26, 1988. Obviously, the pinnacle of your career. What was that season like? You guys finished with a 28-1 record. Concord, their only loss was in that state championship game. They finished 28-1. As you remember, look back on the season, what stands out to you?
Um, I'm sure it's the our first sectional win for us was really what got us over the hill, for us to get that first sectional because we always felt like if we could win the sectional, we got an opportunity to go up, down to Indianapolis and get a state. Because we never could get out the sectionals. The year before, Southside beat us by a last second shot. The year before that, Yorktown, and then Yorktown and Muncie Southside. So it was always something that stopped us from getting to the state. But if we ever got out of sectionals, we knew that we had a team to make it to Market Square Arena. So for
Yeah.
us, just getting out of sectionals, um, and then the ride for us to the practice, the ride, the journey, we knew that we had something special. Once we lost that game, that sectional game in '87, the returning class, we knew we had something special coming back, and we put in the work to beat the teams that beat us, and we already knew that whoever we face, they were going to have hell going against us.
Yeah, you talked about that sectional field, and that sectional was a grinder back in those days.
Mm-hmm.
Southside and Yorktown, and you guys, the Central and Southside players obviously knew each other really well. You played throughout the summer with and against each other. What kind of a rivalry was that?
Well, you have me and Tony Banks and Cedric Van Leer, we're best friends with each other. So we played with each other, hung out with each other, did a lot of things with each other. That's Muncie Southside and Central. Then you have over at Northside, you have two of my cousins, Rashid Shabazz and Michael Adams over at Northside. So, I got to go against them. Then we've all played with each other throughout the summer. So we always done a lot of things with them, with each other throughout the summers, playing in the summer league games, the Dust Bowls, the back to school tournaments, whatever we had at the Heacon Park and McCullough Park, we did. So we knew each other tendencies. So it was kind of hard to to hide it, playing against each other. So you had to come up with something new each and every time you played against them.
Was it kind of a friendly rivalry, or were you guys super
No, it wasn't nothing
competitive?
friendly. It wasn't nothing friendly. I
Yeah.
mean, we kept it classy. We didn't. It wasn't bloody, but it wasn't friendly. We just didn't go after each other, and it wasn't going to be a fight. We kept it as classy as it could be. But it wasn't nothing that we wasn't going to fight each other. But we didn't want to we didn't want to lose to each other.
Is there one game in particular against Southside that still is most memorable for you?
Well, the sectional for me, because they had opportunity to beat us. That if Banks make the a layup instead of missing a dunk, that put them ahead, and they probably got a chance to win it. But he missed the dunk, and we come down and score, and that right there probably gave us the momentum to to keep us going. And once that missed dunk happened, we went on a road, and we never turned back.
Yeah, so the next couple of weeks, you guys just kept winning, and you reach the state finals, and you play in your first game at the state finals in the semifinal round. You beat Bedford North Lawrence 60 to 53. Bedford North Lawrence was led by a guy named Damon Bailey. I think everybody is familiar with him. Um, what kind of a challenge was that first game?
It was a big challenge because we were missing our second best player, our top defender, Cedric Van Leer. So, any team going into the state finals or going to any tournament play and you missing one of your leaders is going to be a challenge. Now, what can we muster up to get some type of performance from one of our bench players? We don't know. And Billy Vance, Chris Winningham, they came up and showed out that weekend for us, and they played great. And it was kind of like we never missed a beat.
Yeah, you guys had some nice balance on that team, obviously. The championship game, you advanced to play Concord. Concord led by Sean Kemp, future NBA player, had a big reputation, obviously. In that game, you scored 32 points in the championship game. When you got done that night and looked at what you had done, what was the sense of accomplishment that you and your team had gone through that season?
Well, my from a kid, I always wanted to win a state championship. In Indiana, which is not being publicized now. Back then, all the state championship. Well, I say the semi-state and the state championship was always televised on Channel 4.
Yeah.
So as a kid, I would sit there and watch it from, I want to say from 1978, since Central went down to the state from 78, 79, all the way up until I played in the state. I always wanted to be a state champion player and a state champion winner. So that was my goal. I wanted to be a state champion. A lot of people were coming up to me, well, you got a chance to win Mr. Basketball. Which one do I prefer? I prefer to win the state. I could care less about Mr. Basketball because if I win the state, my teammates win. Winning Mr. Basketball is only an individual goal, but the state is a team goal, and that's what it was. That's what it was for me, was winning the state goal, because everyone remembered who won the state back in '88.
You mentioned Mr. Basketball. So, um, the state championship that you won in 1988, I came to Muncie 8 months after that in November of 1988. So I didn't see any of that season that we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about. But you mentioned Mr. Basketball, and a lot of people that I have talked to over the years, and especially back in the early 90s, kept telling me Chandler should have won Mr. Basketball. Woody Austin from Richmond won it. Sean Kemp was second in the voting. You were third. Um, any rough feelings about that outcome? I mean, you just mentioned obviously you'd rather win the state championship, but any lingering feelings from that vote?
No, no lingering feelings, but if you do it like I guess how they were doing it lately, um, how they changed it up after the state, then I guess the top player had won the Mr. Basketball. But the body of work of what Woody Austin have done, his 4 years of Richmond, he went to the state twice as a freshman and as a junior. You can't deny 2,000 points. Um, Sean Kemp, 2,000 points, number four at the time, and as I think he was fourth all-time leader in Indiana high school as far as points. McDonald's All-American. I get it. Um, but at the time, I thought that I was the best player in the state of Indiana at that time, you know.
Yeah.
So at the time, do I think I'm Mr. Basketball? Of course. Did Coach Harold think I was Mr. Basketball? Of course. Um, but I don't hold my head down because I didn't get Mr. Basketball. Those two guys had to look, themselves in the eyes and say, "Hey, I got Mr. Basketball or this guy," and do they really think twice of, "Hey, it could have went to that guy right there."
You know, even though I didn't see you play as a high school player, I covered you throughout your college career at Ball State. And the thing that I always enjoyed watching with you was your athleticism and your leaping ability. I think you had a 43-inch vertical leap. Does that sound pretty accurate?
Well, that's what they said on TV, but it was almost like 48, 49. Because at Ball State, when they were doing it, they gave us an opportunity to take a step back or just to go straight up. When I took a step back, it was it was 48, and as a step, going straight up, it was like 44. So at giving it one way, you went with it however you wanted to do it. But then when I got overseas and did it a different way, it was still up at a 48, 49. So I don't know. I was able to touch the top of the backboard right up underneath the white part of the top of the backboard. That's the
Yeah.
highest I was ever to get off of one leg run and start or off of a, standing jump.
Yeah, that's amazing. Uh, in high school, did you have the nickname of High C
No, I got that at Ball State.
at Ball State?
Yeah,
High C in terms of a high flyer, right?
yeah.
Um, I remember, I think you told me this story once upon a time that at Heacon Park one summer during a basketball weekend, they had a slam dunk contest. And I think I
Mhm.
remember you telling me you jumped over a car to make and win a slam dunk contest. Am I remembering that right?
That's true. That's true. So it was a tough dunk contest, and so I had to go up against a couple older guys. I was still in high school at the time, and these guys were some incredible dunkers, and I knew that they were going to come up with something. So I had to come up with something. So that Friday night, the dunk contest was Sunday. That Friday night, I drove past Heacon Park because the light stayed on at midnight. And I just drove my Cavalier. I had a Cavalier at the time. I just drove by there and I parked my car in the middle of the court. And I just took off from the 3-point line, jumped over my car a couple of times. And there's one kid named Savalas Pegues. He was at the park shooting around. And he saw me dunk. I said, "Do not tell anyone that you saw this. Keep this as a secret until Sunday." He went back and told everybody. By the time Sunday came around, the dunk contest showed up. You had another guy, he wants to do the same type of dunk, but he didn't know what I was doing. So he tried to jump over the top of the car, the hood, the where your head is at. I wanted to jump over the hood where the engine was at. I'm not going to try to jump over that part, because that's not it makes sense for me. I knew
That's
I can jump over
crazy.
the hood. Yeah, I knew I can jump over the hood part because I did it a couple times with ease. But the problem was I just played a full game. In the hot sun, I was kind of tired. So I was just like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull it off. But I was able to pull it off, and someone got a video of it, and it ended up making history.
Yeah, that's a heck of a story. Were you nervous at all about making the
Nah,
landing?
nah. I know once I took off and cleared the car, I was good to go.
Yeah. So after your after your high school career at Central, you go to Ball State. Rick Majerus recruits you there, and your breakout season was in 1989-90. That's the year Ball State went to the Sweet 16. You were kind of the new guy on the squad that year. That team, most of that team was coming back from the year prior where they went 29-3, and a lot of their roles had been established, and now you're going to try to find your niche into that system. How'd that process go for you?
At the beginning, it was horrible. Um, Starting off the season, Coach Hunsaker brought me into the office and said he wanted to redshirt me. And I told him, no, I'm not going to sit out 2 years in a row. I mean, his first conversation was he put on the whiteboard. He wrote down all the games of the season. He said, I can only see you playing this amount of minutes this game. And he wrote down minutes. 2 minutes here, 4 minutes here, 0, 0, 0. I told him I'm a bet on myself. I said, I don't see that. I'm not sitting out 2 years in a row. If that was the case, then I would never came here. I'm not going to do that. So I told him I'm a bet on myself. I'm not sitting out 2 years in a row. Um, I know that I can. I know that I can play, and I'm gonna fight for my playing time. And there's nothing against who's playing in front of me, but I'm gonna fight for my playing time. Yeah.
Yeah, so and you did make a spot for yourself. You became a
Well,
starter.
I became a starter because two of the starters got hurt. So Sean Paris was a starter. He got hurt, and Greg Miller was always coming off the bench. He was behind. And so he had gotten hurt. And so once he got hurt, I became the starter after the fifth or sixth game of the season. So I was able to start getting some playing time. I think maybe my first start was at Indiana State, and I got off to a quick start. I scored the first 4 to 6 points of the game, and I never got any more playing time in the game. So that's how that game went. So when you say how did it start off, it started off horrible because the reporters came up to me and said, "So what happened? Why didn't you play anymore?" I said, "I don't know." Coach said, "Well, I forgot that he was part of the team." I was like, "Well, how can you forget? This is your first year coaching, and this isn't the same team as last year. You was an assistant coach. You wasn't a head coach. So this was the mind games that I was dealing with at the time as a young kid with Hunsaker.
Was there a point during that season where you kind of started to feel comfortable and maybe the team started to really believe in what they were seeing from you?
Well, the teammates were always like brothers to me, so they always made me feel comfortable. I never had any issues or any animosity with anyone on the team at all. They wanted me to win. It wasn't nothing like jealousy or nothing. It was always, hey, our common goal was to win. So it didn't matter who was on the court. We all just wanted to win. Whoever was the best player out there at the time, no matter who it was, let's just go out there, do our job, and win. That was it.
Yeah, and you guys did win after
Mhm.
that rough start. I think you guys had seven losses probably early in January, and things hadn't started to click yet. And then as the season moved on from I'd say probably about mid-January on, you guys continued to get better. You advance to the NCAA tournament, you win the MAC regular season, you win the MAC tournament championships, and you advance to the NCAA tournament. And in the first round game, you beat Oregon State. I talked to Paris McCurdy last week on the program here about that game, and that was certainly a memorable game. Is there, outside of the ending where Paris scored a three-point play with no time on the clock, was there a moment in that game that kind of sticks out to you?
Gary Payton.
Yeah.
Gary Payton, all the trash talking that
Yeah.
he was supposed to do, and I think he was quiet as a church mouse in that game because Paris out talked him. Um, it was a big game for us and for them as well. But I just think that going out to Utah, I just think Coach Hunsaker really just let us play. You know, I don't think I'm not going to say he didn't do a lot of coaching because he did coach, but I think he took I want to say he he put the car in cruise control and just sat back and let us do it, that way. If you understand what I'm saying, it's kind of like he drove the car, but he monitored just a little bit because he just let us play. It wasn't like in the season where he monitored everything and he had us on a stream. This time he just allowed us to play in the tournament because it's one and done. And during that time, it was a different it's a different style. We played a different style in the tournament than what we played in the season.
Yeah, so you win that game, you go on, you beat Louisville in the next game, and then the third game of that tournament series, you play UNLV, powerhouse throughout college basketball that year, and you took them down to the wire. Before I get to that final play, you had a dunk in that UNLV game that has been played, I don't know how many thousands and thousands of times on YouTube, but Paris had missed a shot from the corner. The ball bounces up off the rim, and you kind of came flying in from the middle of the lane somewhere and used that 48-inch vertical leap, and you went up above three UNLV players who are standing there kind of looking up. And the next thing we see is Chandler soaring above everybody and making a dunk, and Brent Musburger went electric on the play. Uh,
Yeah,
do people still ask you about that play?
all the time.
Yeah,
It is called the dunk. It's
yeah,
not called the UNLV. It's called the dunk. They come up to me and said, "Hey man, I remember you from the dunk. The dunk, the dunk, the dunk." So
yeah,
all the time I get that, and I wish that a couple plays before that I tried to dunk on Stacey Augmon and the team, but it was just that the player kind of took my foot, my last step and cut it off, and then had my body turned to the side where I couldn't take off the right way. So it's almost like it was a picture in the paper where I'm laying the ball up all sideways and it's not even like the right way. But if I could have got off that last step, I would have dunked on them all then. That would have been, I probably wouldn't have got that dunk because that dunk would have probably been the one that was talked about.
yeah. Well, you guys had a heck of a comeback in that game. I think you were down 14 points in the second half. You got it down to a 2-point game. UNLV missed a few free throws at the end to kind of give you an opening. And you guys took control of the ball, I think, with 15 seconds left or so, and ran a play. It looked like, I think it was some sort of an ISO play for Paris out on the right wing, and he slipped while he was dribbling, and he passed the ball to Mike Spicer out front, and um, Mike drove into the lane, got to the free throw line, and went up. And he kind of saw you, and I've talked to Mike about this play over the years. He kind of saw you out of the corner of his eye up near the basket and thought maybe he could throw a lob dunk to you.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't quite sure if he should shoot, lob, and it turned out he tried to lob it, but it was a little short, and UNLV uh, intercepted the pass, and that was the end of the game.
Yeah, that
So,
was it. We had the opportunity and it didn't turn out the way we wanted, but I mean, look, we lose by 2 points to the team that end up blowing everybody else by 30.
yeah, yeah, they went
Um,
on to win the NCAA championship that year.
we gave them a battle. They wore a Ball State hat every time they went and played in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah,
So we were on their mind. They knew about us.
yeah, I'm sure they couldn't get that out of their heads, could they?
No, not at all.
So after your college career here, I think you got a couple of tryout shots with NBA teams.
Hmm.
Ultimately went to Europe to play, and I think you played, what, about 12 years overseas,
They did 13 years in Europe.
13 years overseas.
Yeah.
What was that experience like, going from a kid who grew up in Muncie, played all of your basketball around here or in the US for sure, and now all of a sudden you're in a foreign country playing with different players, different styles, different culture. What kind of an adjustment was that for you?
It was a huge adjustment. I think I was able to get adjusted um, the summer of '91, going into the '92 season, going into my senior year. I was on an NIT tour team. We went over to Europe that summer,
Okay.
and we went to Germany and Belgium, and we played 10 games over there. And I was able to get acclimated with the style of the European basketball style during that time. And I got offered a contract then to play for one of the top teams in Belgium. And I was just like, I'm not doing that. I can wait. If I'm getting this money now, what can I get, you know, later on?
Right.
And what's so ironic is that's the same team that offered me a contract is the same team I tore my knee against um, in 2000, 1999.
Uh,
So that's which is ironic. But yeah, that team offered me a contract, and I was able to get adjusted to the European lifestyle. So when I got to Spain, my first year in Spain, it was kind of rough. But once we started playing basketball, everything became easy. The lifestyle became easier. I had two other Americans on the team. They were older. I adjusted with them that first year. Then the second year, I got different teammates, and they opened it up where we ended up having five Americans on the team. We were the first team in Europe to start five Black Americans on a European basketball team. So we made history. Then the next year, I played again with that same team. Then I went to a bigger team in Spain and played there, and for 5 years until I hurt my back. I tore my knee and then hurt my back. Then I went on to Greece, and Greece wasn't paying, so I left Greece and went to Italy. Won a championship in Italy. Stayed in Italy for 2 years, and then went to Russia. Then came back to Italy, and then that was it. And then came back stateside and played in the ABA and
yeah.
CBA.
Certainly a great professional career. A lot of great experiences, I'm sure. Before I let you go, and I want to thank you, Chandler, for doing this. I appreciate it a lot. It's been a
Oh,
lot
no
of fun.
problem.
Um, Before I let you go, what are you doing these days? What's going on with Chandler Thompson?
I'm just sitting back. I got four grandbabies. I'm starting to get an opportunity to be around my four grandsons. And the age is six. One is going to turn 7 in a couple weeks. 2 years old, and I think 8 months, and got a new one that was just born. He'll be a month in next week.
So they keep you busy. Potential basketball players there, I'm sure.
One, my 2 year old, he's following my son, so he's just like my son. So yes, my son has two boys, so he's playing. My 7 year old, he's into everything. He boxes, he plays basketball, he's a football player, he's into everything. So I wouldn't count him out as being a basketball player, but he's into everything. That's by my oldest daughter, who was born right before I went to play against UNLV in the NCAA tournament. And then my youngest daughter, she has a little boy. She's about to have another little boy in July. So that'd be my fifth grandson.
Okay. So a lot of basketball players
Yeah, so I got a
potentially.
basketball. I got a starting five coming up.
Yeah. Is your son playing overseas?
Yes, he's playing overseas. He's doing a good job. Last year he was MVP of the Slovenian league. He's a leading scorer, second in assist. Him and Taylor Parson played against each other. They played at Ball State.
Yeah, yeah.
They played against each other, good buddies. Um, so he's over in Hungary this year playing, and they're not on a good. He's not on a good team. They struggling, but he's putting up good numbers. He just had 22 points last game, 24 the game before that, 26 the game before that. So he's putting up good numbers. His team is just struggling right now. They got rid of their coach, so they get to come up to the playoffs. They play against a guy that got second in Mr. Basketball here during his year, named Trayvon Blewett, that went to Park Tudor, played at Xavier,
Okay.
class of 2014. He's Gary played against him
Okay.
Saturday.
All right.
So it's some good competition where he's at.
Yeah,
So
for
he's
sure.
doing good, especially for a kid that walked on at Ball State that
Yeah.
they said that would never get an opportunity to play.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really nice for him.
Yeah.
Well, again, Chandler, I really appreciate it. It's always good to talk to you and catch up.
Always, you got that in anytime you want, you always get that opportunity. I always gave you that first interview from day one.
Yeah.
When I first got to Europe, Spain, you
Right.
got that first interview. I
Yeah.
gave that to you. So you always get that from me. You know that.
Yeah. I always appreciated
You always kept it
Chandler.
always honest with me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, Chandler, have a great day. Have a great summer coming up. And again, thanks for catching up.
All right, you too. Take
Okay.
care.
Okay.